Utah. Some big things happening out there as they, I don't know, questions being answered. What are we starting with here?
If I had to call my shot right now, I don't think Kyle Whittingham's retiring.
That's not even the biggest story. Well, it might be the biggest story, but like Utah is at the center of a lot of things. But let's start with Whittingham. What gives you this indication? Are you hearing things or what's going on?
So I had a source a couple of weeks ago that is very tied to the program reach out and say, hey, I just want to let you know, I don't think Whit wants to retire. And this makes a lot of sense. So now we've learned $500 million are in this private equity deal they have just signed, which is insane. And so NIL is about to get way better. Their ability to pay their players through the school's, funding. What's it called when the school pays the players now? We're doing this thing.
Employment?
Oh, what's the name for? Okay, let's start this over. I'm sorry. I need to figure out what is the word for that?
Revenue sharing?
Oh, it is revenue sharing. Okay, yeah. Can we start over? I'm sorry. God, dang it.
Just go from there. Just go from where you were. I'll just edit that part.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. From revenue sharing, that's all established from Utah. So Kyle Whittingham, the guy who's like, well, I guess I'll retire, is now, I don't think, in a headspace where he feels like he needs to. So, I've heard from multiple people that he's not old. Like, he's still got a lot in the tank. He's good to go. And that B, he's sharp enough that if he did retire, he would be pretty bored. And knowing those two things, when you're the head coach and you said, yeah, I'll probably retire. And then you decided, okay, fine, I won't. I'm going to come back for one more year. And my head coach in waiting is sitting right there going, okay, retire. And then the next year you say, well, remember when I said I was going to retire last year? I didn't retire because we were really bad. And this year we were really good, but we weren't good enough. And I do think we should beat BYU. We should go to the college football playoff. And now I have $500 million. You wouldn't want to retire either. And so I've heard now from a couple people, he doesn't want to go. And now, TJ, the ripple effect of this from Morgan Scalley, who's the head coach
my question. What the heck do they do here?
The assistants, that's where that gets really hairy. Because again, Whittingham told the nation, he told everyone, he's like, here's Morgan Scalley. This was like 5 years ago. My head coach in waiting. It is written, he will be the head Ute in a few years when I'm gone. And then he told people at Big 12 Media Days, his offseason, he was like, I was ready to retire. I was going to go. This was going to be my last year, my swan song. And then what happens, TJ, is they win again this year. He feels this little tickle in his tummy again of like, I can't go without this. I need to do this. I still love this. And what's going to only help that is the NIL money. So the biggest piece of why he kind of wanted to go that I've been told is he doesn't love Saban-wise, right? He doesn't love where NIL is gone. He doesn't love that Utah can't compete. He knows why, gets it, why they can't compete with Ohio State. But you find yourself sitting there thinking, I want more money. I want more NIL. I need more. And who do you talk to at some point that those sentences just make you sound like you're begging? And it's a tough spot for Whit to be in. They just got $500 million. So now that's really cinched up. I think the only other thing that could get him to go is if his retirement pay is really nice. If they said, look, Whit, we'll pay you millions and millions of dollars to go to Cancun, then maybe he does. But it looks like Kyle Whittingham wants to come back to Utah.
Is that a good thing? What is it? I mean, he's great, right? Like that's not should they bring this great coach back? But because of the ripple effect with Scalley and with assistants and like, does if Morgan knows that he's not getting the job for another 3 years, does he stick around? I
don't think so. Yeah, that's what's like really hairy.
And that, might be a really good 3-year run, might be 2 college football playoffs, might be a Big 12 championship. Who knows? Might not be any of those things.
Well, okay. Right? So let's go there, TJ. If you have the decision, you're the Florida State athletic director, and you can either keep Bobby Bowden in his spot as the head coach. And maybe things haven't been as good as you want them the last 3 years. You haven't won a national championship in 3 years. It's all hypothetical. Or you can have the assistant coach in waiting be the head coach. I personally want the legend who's been there, the guy who I know can still win with a new $500 million check to help him win. Do you think you want the unproven assistant?
Well, so what was so tough about it? They're a little bit different situations because that's what Florida State did. Bobby had won Bobby had one more than Jimbo, but he was sorry, not Jimbo. Bobby had one more than Kyle did. No shot at Kyle, but he won national titles and really built the program
For sure.
But he had fallen off harder than Kyle has. Like he wasn't able. He was just a lot older. He really couldn't. He couldn't get in those living rooms. And I mean, he still had some of that charm, but he just didn't have it like he once did. He fell into some of the nepotism with letting his son be the OC, and he just couldn't get back over the hump. Once you lose it, once you get to that age. And it worked out well for Florida State to go to the other guy. The other guy won 10 games, like 6 out of 7 years he was there, lost one time to a rival, won a national championship, a Heisman, went to another playoff. I think he went to BCS or CFPs, like, it went BCS bowls to New Year's Six bowls, like all but 2 years he was there. Like, it was really good under Jimbo. So going to the head coach in waiting did really well for Florida State. But Bobby had just fallen off so hard. He was going 6-6 every year, like it just, now obviously Florida State's in a worse spot now than they were back then, but it worked out well from that perspective. But it's a little different with Utah to me, like where I think Witt still got it. And but again, what kind of commitment are you going to get from him? Because here's the thing. If you're telling me you can get 5 more years of Kyle Whittingham, like I'd probably take that.
Yeah.
But what if next year's a disaster and they go 6-6, and I don't think it will be. I think they'll be really good. But what if it's not very good? What if it doesn't work out? What if there's an injury or two that really derail things? Then you're sitting back there like regretting that. It is a tough decision. There's no right answer. I mean, there is a right answer, but we won't know what the right answer is until we see how it plays out. That's the problem. Like, you kind of knew that Jimbo was going to bring back up. I mean, Jimbo had also been at LSU. He'd won a title under Nick. He understood how SEC and big boy football worked. So you had some confidence that was going to work. Not that you don't have confidence that Morgan could be the guy, but it was less risky because you were going 6-6 every year at Florida State anyway. Like, what's the worst Jimbo could have done? I mean, his floor was come in and win 8 games a year. And so that would have been an improvement. So I don't know, man, like the way there was a lot of confidence in the way that Jimbo recruited. Well, recruiting is not, I don't want to say it's not as big of a deal now, but it's not as big of a deal when you have $500 million sitting in the bank because of what the sport is now. So there are some confidence that he could do well. Shoot, I don't mean to crap on the guy, but I don't think Joey McGuire is some amazing coach. This is kind of a win or lose, win or get fired year for him this year anyway, especially with the investment. And kind of prove that like investment in money, players can maybe undo like a mediocre to just barely above average type of coach.
And you could probably use Ryan Day, maybe even above McGuire there. Like you'd say Ryan Day probably isn't near as good as Nick Saban. There's no way.
Or Kirby or Lanning or any of these guys.
But if you give him enough money,
you give him the best players in the league, it's hard not to mess that up. And he still does at times. Look at that Indiana game where he kept running the ball. Look at that Michigan game last year. Yeah. I mean, he still does. But most of the time, the athletes are just going to win out.
True. So I think at the end of this, the private equity deal is massive. It's probably bad for college sports overall. Who cares? We'll figure that out later. For now, I think the private equity is another domino falling for Kyle Whittingham, saying, I'm not ready. Like, and the source was pretty clear about this, saying, hey, in almost every scenario, nobody's ready for the next guy to take over. Just because you named a coach in waiting, just because TJ named a host in waiting, you're not ready for that guy to get your baby. Doesn't make you any more excited to give it up. I don't think Whittingham's ready to acquiesce his role as the head coach at Utah. Now, this is Drake Toll speaking. I think Witt's back next year.
The $500 million investment. Let's ask about that just real quick before we move on. Will they go as balls to the wall as Texas Tech just did this last year? And will the expectations be, we need to make our run at the CFP just like the Red Raiders did, because they just laid out the map of you can go from a good team to an elite team.
Yeah, I should be clear. It's not, and you know this, but there are some that are asking the question. It's not a one-time, here's $500 million, good to see you, smell you, bye. This is drawn out. It's a process. It doesn't mean that Utah just became the richest school in America. That's not exactly how this is going to work, but they will be able to utilize this money toward helping the athletic department and the university succeed, win, build more revenue in football. And so they will invest at the highest level they're able to with the money that they're given in the immediate. And so I do foresee the $500 million and how it is spread out, what they get be immediately used for the transfer portal in 2026. They're going to attack guys right now with the knowledge they have more money in their back pocket.